Hello everyone, it's Rebecca, and this is my presentation on how we should reach the Watauga County community. Let's begin. So the first thing before we do any program at all is we need to know the community that we're getting ready to enter. So what do we know about the Watauga County community? Watauga is a very small, rural, and considered low-income county. While the population is predominantly white, there's also a Hispanic community present. And we also know, according to the study, that 59% of the population receives food assistance. So, what are the needs of Watauga County? The Appalachia community needs access to healthy food. They also need access to education about healthy foods and the healthy foods health benefits. So, here's the big question. How do we reach this population? First, we need to identify their food access areas. And I know there are plenty of other food access areas out there. However, I listed 4 to begin with. I decided on grocery stores, churches for food banks and food pantries. I know that most churches, at least where I live, they do operate as food pantries. I'm not sure about the Watauga County community, but I'm sure that there would be some churches open to the idea. We can also collaborate with local or personal gardens, local restaurants, and fast food chains. The next thing we need to do is to identify the changes that should be made to these 4 areas to improve access to healthy foods. So let's begin with the first one. We can collaborate with grocery stores to promote healthy food options, and these methods could include providing discounts on healthy foods. I know some grocery stores, they are in charge of how much each food is priced. They could provide discounts for healthy foods, so that way those options are more available to those who are in low-income areas. They could even provide grocery lists with food suggestions. A lot of times people go to the grocery store and they may not know what is available there that could be healthy. And so if the grocery stores provide those lists with the nutritional information on them, that would also help educate the community. Also, they could partner with the local food banks to create food drives. I know at least in my community, every couple of months or so, the grocery stores around here, they do partner with food banks, and people that can afford to can donate food items that will go to members of low-income communities and homes. And I think that's a wonderful idea to work with the grocery stores who already have the food, so that way you can distribute it to the people who really need it. Those food items could also be healthy food items as well. The next one on our list is collaborating with churches to promote healthy food options. As I mentioned before, at least in my community, a lot of the churches do host food pantries and food banks. I know in a lot of rural communities they can be very faith-based, and so you know for a fact that they would at least be going to church once a week. And if they're going to church once a week and that church happens to provide food and healthy food options, then they can collect those once a week, and that could at least give them one day of healthy food, if not provide for the entire week. And working with those donations and with the people who are there who can afford to donate would definitely help the lower income families. Next on the list is to collaborate with local and personal gardens to promote healthy food options. In rural counties, I know at least where I live, there are quite a few people who do have their own gardens, and they do grow and eat their own food. Sometimes, however, the harvest can be very plentiful, and so there are extra food items that they may not need, and that if they don't have to give them to their livestock, that food's just going to rot. And so instead of throwing it out or using it for fertilizer, they could donate it to the food banks and the food pantries and give them to those in need. You can also take the opportunity to teach those who have the yard space and who have the capability to grow their own healthy foods, which not only gives them access straight to healthy foods, it'll also provide the opportunity that if the harvest is plentiful, they can donate their extra food to everyone else. I know in a lot of communities there's a lot of crop sharing, and that would be a wonderful idea to bring the community together if they are sharing their harvests, and that also promotes healthy eating. Finally on the list, we have collaboration with local restaurants and fast food chains to promote healthy food options. These restaurants and food chains, more so on the local restaurants, because I know fast food chains have their own rules that they have to follow from corporate. The local restaurants, they can provide menu items that do have healthier options on the menu. I know a lot of places that I go to eat, there are little symbols next to the different menu items that do contain certain healthy foods, or if they are good for a low sodium diet or a low carb diet. Or even these restaurants and food chains, they could create discounts for choosing healthier meals. So instead of, choosing fries for your meal, you could choose apple slices. Or instead of, fried chicken, you can choose grilled chicken and get half off. Of course, that would depend on the different restaurants and the different food chains, and that would probably include a lot more work, but it's an option. So I'm sure the big question is why I didn't suggest the use of social media to bring my message into the community. Social media is wonderful. It brings people together. It's a wonderful way for people to connect. It's a wonderful way for people to connect with others around the world. However, in rural communities, especially in areas like the mountains or where I live in the middle of nowhere, you don't always have a reliable internet connection. I can go 30 minutes down the road and my internet goes out. I don't even receive cell service. So if you don't have internet to begin with, it's difficult to actually be able to use social media. If the community happens to have low-income members, they can't always afford phones or laptops or other devices that are essential for using social media. And last but not least, not everyone has social media. I know a lot of people who just choose not to be on social media at all. And if they're not on social media at all, they can't receive our program for healthy foods. Everyone, however, does need to eat. So whenever we are able to understand and target those areas where people are getting their food, we'll be able to help them choose healthier options. All right, that is it. Thank you all very much for listening. If you have any questions, please comment in my section. I don't mind at all. I'd love to start a conversation, and I hope you all have a great day.